Welcome to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower, where we do our best to give you useful information in 20 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, 5-time Voice Arts Awards nominee, David Brower.
Thanks, Ellen. This is David Brower with your 20-minute podcast. Our special guest today from Atlanta, Georgia, is McPatti Langston, and she is an author, a public speaker, and she has just been getting all kinds of things going on, helping people get organized. McPatti, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much. It's great to speak to somebody in the Rocky Mountain High area.
Well said. Absolutely well said. So you've been doing this for a while. I mean, your book has been out.
It's been 8 months, so January of this year,
Awesome.
2019.
So magically, McOrganize, decluttering your space and your mind. And it talks about people just being cluttered beyond belief. Now, is the clutter because they're hoarders, because they're too busy, because they don't understand what clutter is? Where does it all start?
Everyone has a different story. It is not one size fits all to get to the level. I would say the biggest issue is choices.
Okay.
Not make good choices, and that's why they have a lot of clutter. I just want to tell you, I do not work with people that have hoarders. That is for the medical community to deal with. That is a psychological issue. I work with everyday people that may be transitioning to a different way of living, maybe downsizing, maybe they're moving out of the country. So most of the people I deal with are regular people that have accumulated a lot of things because we live in a country where all the messages are to buy things.
That's
have
right.
You been to Target lately?
Oh my gosh, buy. And then a dear friend of mine, swear to goodness, she's passed away many years ago, but she was like the neatest, prim and proper woman I ever met in my life. She was probably 75 when she worked for me as my office manager. And we'd go to her home all the time and visit with her and stuff. And when she passed away, I went in with some of her family into her house, and the house was still as immaculate as ever. But when you walked into her spare bedroom, it was stacked upon stacked upon stacked of new clothes, never been touched.
So you get it.
I get it.
Has that hideout room. Now,
right? Yeah.
South, so guess what we have? Basements.
Oh.
So the basement, that is kind of like your storage community.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get to it. I'll put it in the basement.
That people don't understand.
I'll get to it later, right?
Okay.
I'll put it in the basement and I'll get to it later.
I would say it is faulty decision making. It's not addressing something early, and then when I usually come, it's a situation.
Gotcha.
Of anxiety that they have made poor decisions on so many things, and now they have to release these things and they need guidance. And that's where I come in to help people look at things through their mind, their body, and their spirit, and how they got in this situation and how they're going to get themselves out.
That's a wonderful solution. And how do you get people that are making those bad choices? How do you get them to slow down long enough to catch their breath and realize that, oh my God, I need McPatti? How does that work?
I like your question. Because you have to see me once a week. So I've been in closets with people and I say, how do you like me? And they say, well, you seem okay to me. I say, good, because I'm going to be here for a really long time.
Wow.
So what happens is I put you on a schedule, and the schedule is once a week, 3 hours. And when you're with me for those 3 hours, because mostly after 3 hours, a lot of people, it's just too much because they have an attachment to the things, the inanimate things.
Sure.
And I don't. So after 3 hours, they are done. So I tell people, when you're going to start organizing, first of all, pick one room that you're going to start with. The best room to start with is a common area. I also say offices are a great way to start, because if you can clear your office, then guess what happens? more money comes in.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. That's a wonderful way to start. And then I would think it also starts a little change in their brain where they start to accept that, oh, this is kind of a good thing. Maybe I'll take on a second room.
Well, most people I'm working with, we're trying to lose the stuff. We're not trying to keep the stuff. So what I do is I have a conversation with you. Is this adding to your life, this particular thing? Like today, when you go home, I want you to take 3 items in your office and walk around and say, is this item adding to my life? Is this helping me get to the next level in my job? Is this item going to help me in 6 months from now? That is what I tell people. You have to set a boundary of what the item is and if it's going to add or take away from your life.
I love that. And taking one item at a time makes it manageable, doable, kind of easier to embrace, right?
Yes, and one room at a time, only starting one room,
Yeah.
or then you have the anxiety of going from room to room. So I like to complete a room with a client and then go to the next room and then start working it. The thing is, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right. But a basement was filled in a week. Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, but a basement was filled in a week.
Yeah, because you made these choices. I would say what I help people do is focus intention. Again, we work with the breath. So take a big breath here, big open mouth, and release. So why am I telling you to take a breath? Because I want you to release the things around you. I want you to release it in your body as well, because a lot of people are very tense when they're working in these rooms, because what happens is they know they created this mess and now they have the anxiety of how they're going to declutter and get clear. So the first thing I tell a client to do is we're going to take 3 deep breaths, one for your mind, expanding your mind right now that you're going to do this. Then the next breath is for your spirit, to ignite your spirit that you're okay. It's going to, all these things are going to leave and they're not going to be around, and you can clear.
Yeah.
Because when you clear your internal self, you can clear your external self. You have to be clear in your mind to clear outside.
Makes perfect sense. I do, I'm not flexible enough to do regular yoga, but I do chair yoga. And our instructor always starts us off and ends that with really heavy breathing and relaxation. And it makes it so much easier to clear your mind that you don't even know that unless you take a few breaths, like you say, and realize, oh, that's it. That's all I got to do to ease my anxiety. Well, let's do that every day.
Yes, it starts with the breath, clearing the brain. Then the next thing is we pick an area that you feel is causing you anxiety, or you keep thinking about that area. Maybe it's a closet.
Sure.
Maybe it's your pantry. And I do have a story about the pantry. I was working with a family a couple of months ago, and the woman had all these places in her house that she wanted to work on. And she said, where should I start? I said, let's start with the pantry. We started with the pantry, and you wouldn't even believe it. There was a violin in her pantry.
Oh my God.
Crazy things. Food from 6 years before. I mean, it looked crazy in there. So I actually made a system, where you put like items with like items. That's very important, people.
Mm-hmm.
Is all the cans together, all the boxes together. So you have some type of system that when you can find things, it will be easier for you. So I was in there about 3.5 to 4 hours. Everything looked amazing. And then what I did is labeled all the systems of where the different food items, baking, chips, snack food,
sure,
cans, pet food. And then I came back the next week. And when I came back the next week, you won't even believe what happened. The 5 kids that lived there came and said, Miss Organizer, Miss Organizer, Miss Organizer. I said, what? They said, you changed our lives. I said, how did I change your lives? They said, you changed our lives so much that now we know where our food is. And when we go to the grocery store, now we know where to put our food.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Wow.
Thank you. Just from changing one space, the pantry,
yeah.
I changed 5 children's lives because, again, what do these rooms do? They're communicating with you of where you're supposed to think, where you're supposed to put things. And there was no communication until I came in there and changed that. And I really changed those children's lives, and it was so evident. So
I
again,
love that.
maybe go in your pantry, put all the cans together. Just start there, and then check the expiration date.
What happened to the violin? So you've had such great success with doing this or helping people organize, and now you're stepping out to the arena. You're doing public speaking now. How did that happen? Where did that kick off?
Well, that was really surprising. People just started calling me. I want to thank Marie Kondo for putting organizing on the map. And the thing, I have a different slant about organizing because I understand the challenges. When I see people very frustrated, that's why I wrote the book. I wrote the book because I understand where you've been on your journey, how you got there. And I wanted to make something that people could understand. Here's the book, Magically McOrganize, because this is not just a book, this is a workbook. And how I got public speaking is I started speaking about this book, because every chapter I have something for your mind, your body, and your spirit. I also have an action plan for you in every chapter. So it's very helpful to get to the next level when you read this book. I have over 70 reviews on Amazon about this book, and all the reviews are favorable. I have a 5-star rating. So
No, I just looked at that. The thing that's fascinating to me about your book and the way you just described it, it's very organized. Right?
Well, thank you.
Right? So what that does is that sets the tone, right? So people open that up, they look at it, they understand it's a workbook, they take it page by page, chapter by chapter, or what have you, and they go, oh, so the book helps them kind of get their mind in an organized state, I would think.
Well, the other fun thing, the book is a comedy. The book is about Queen Hodgepodge and King Haywire, who live in a really big castle, and they have to downsize to a castle condo.
I love that.
He is very OCD, and he could get rid of things because he doesn't have any attachment. But what happens with her, these 5 dragons come to her. And these dragons of attachment, the dragon of fear, all these different dragons take her away from getting to the next level. And that's what I help you do. The second part of the book is helping you with the nuts and bolts of organizing. I help you with your closet, your kitchen, and how about clearing the carriage?
Oh,
is about a king and queen. So this is why I talk about
well, you gotta make room for the glass slipper somewhere, right?
Exactly. And then I talk about the freedom in your workplace. But the most important thing that I really am focusing on now is a grab and go bag, because you have 30 minutes to leave your situation because of a gas leak. What are you going to do?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well,
what are you going to take? And I want to tell you, I just had this situation. I was in Yosemite, and Yosemite caught on fire.
Yep.
And I had very little time. And I'm going to tell you, people, get yourself on a schedule for gasoline.
Yeah.
In your vehicle. The reason I did well is because I had gas in my car, because there were no gas stations when I tried to leave. And I also had food. The thing is, the people that have the best and easiest lives, I'm going to tell you, just systemize 5 things. Systemize 5 things in your life. Well, how do you do your laundry? What day? What time? How do you take care of your car? What day? What time do you do that?
Right.
How do you do your mail? The number one thing I see in America with organizing is people do not open their mail.
Isn't that funny? I guess I'm a rare breed, because when the mail comes in, I'm on it. It's either opened or tossed.
There you go. Because you know why? You have a system.
Yeah.
You have a system.
That's right.
And the system is only going to breed success. I'm going to tell you, the people that have the system like you don't have a mail problem. You don't have a paper problem, because what happens is you have a system. The key is having 5 things in your life, having systemized them. You will have more time. You have more time to do what you really want to do. skydive.
Yeah, what a concept. So when you're doing public speaking, and whether it's a group of 10, 20, 500, 10,000, whatever it is, how do you communicate your organizational plans and get people engaged and those kinds of things? How does your public speaking gig work?
Well, again, it's through organization.
Mm-hmm.
I talk mostly about how you can change your story about organizing.
Okay.
Because your past story may be, you have things that may be from your family's heirlooms, maybe things that you really never thought about, but you keep carrying them on and carrying them to the new place and carrying them to the new situation. But I help you understand that these are things from the past, and are they adding to your life today?
Yeah.
And that's where I think people a lot of times are stuck, because they don't know what to do with family heirlooms, family photos. The number one thing that I'm seeing now is people have these gigantic houses and then they have a storage.
Well, I know when quick story, when my father passed away almost 30 years ago, and tons of stuff. Oh my God. I filled up a U-Haul truck, right? And I moved it from Oregon back to, where was I at the time? Idaho. And so I just put everything in storage, and then I moved everything in storage, and then I moved everything in storage, and then I moved everything and it went on for years. And one day I woke up and go, what in the hell are you doing? I mean, and I didn't know the right questions to ask like you did, but I'm going, what am I moving this stuff for? What do I need this stuff for? Do I need a few personal items for my dad? Sure. Does somebody else get better use out of this other stuff? Absolutely.
Well, again, you got clarity. Okay, because the deal is, if you don't have clarity of what all these things are doing around you, then what happens is then you have clutter.
Yeah.
So my job is to help you clear clutter with clarity.
Oh, love that. I'm seeing t-shirts. Clear clutter with clarity. Oh my God, that's freaking brilliant.
And the thing about it, people don't understand that your decision making got you in this situation. So now you're going to have a change of decision making to not, when you go to Target, not have a list.
Yeah.
People that go to these different stores, because I saw what you were telling me earlier about how you saw all those things at that lady's house and they all had tags on them.
Yep.
See this a lot because people don't understand. The other thing is, when you start doing this process, you can really save money.
I would think so, yeah.
Money. I have not spent money in about 4 years. And I got to tell you, because I'm reusing, repurposing things that you may have not thought. You really don't need all this excess. This is, again, brainwashing by Mr. Target and Mrs. Target,
right,
trying to get you to buy more things that you really don't need. And that's the thing is, the ethos of clutter, of when we come down to our soul and our mind and our body, we have to say, is this adding to the quality of our life that we want?
Absolutely right. So if people want to get, we're about out of time. If people want to get a hold of you, of course, they can find your book on Amazon. If they want to reach out to you for public speaking or possibly get a little one-on-one organizational help, what's the best way to do that? I'm on almost every social media platform. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook Business, regular Facebook. So all they have to do is Google me and they'll find me. And even enterprisingmoms.org. I mean, you are on everywhere. Goodreads.com. My goodness, girl, you are everywhere. Congratulations. Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your success, and thank you especially so much on the way you touch people's ability to. I really love the word repurpose. We need to spend more time with that word. So, McPatti, thank you very much. You're welcome. You have a great day. Listen to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower on the go. Downloads are available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, any podcast app, and on our website at davidbrowervo.com/your20-minute podcast. Until next time, thank you for listening.